Okay, scratch that. I've had a change of heart. My inner perfectionist has come out. I cannot and I will not skip a week of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. I tried to be lazy, okay? I tried. I've been lazy. I was lazy, I am lazy. But you know what? We're going to turn this around. It is still Thursday. I will get this up while it is still Thursday, and everything is going to be okay. The world will be at peace because there will be a new episode of the Nobody Asked for This podcast released this week. Phew. Forgive that momentary lapse in judgment. Do I go back and delete that episode, the 1 minute episode I posted this morning, saying that there wasn't going to be an episode, or do I just let that be part of my history? See, I don't want it to mess with the episode count, because I obviously take that very seriously. I do a full breakdown. I'm going through a tunnel, which I always forget, like, this isn't functional by reception. Like, you actually don't need Wi-Fi, but it probably sounds like I'm in a tunnel. So please hold for tunnel. Okay, the tunnel has passed. But yes, I hope everyone has had... I'm going to pretend like that last 1 minute episode didn't happen. I hope everyone has had a great week. We are officially in September. The Burr months. Really, I feel like from this point on, we're kind of home free. Like, it's kind of the best months that we have ahead of us. We got September, where like you can kind of dip into summer, but you could lean into fall. Just kind of depends on where you're at personally. We got, and then it's October. We can start watching scary movies. Which, speaking of scary movies, I put up my Christmas tree a couple days ago. Not like the actual tree that's like in my home, in my household. But I do have a mini Christmas tree that I'm more so using functionally for light. Just because it's, you know, it's starting to get darker earlier. I maybe need some more light in the joint. Can you tell I was going a bit slow? Everyone's speeding past me now that they get an opportunity. Rude people. Drive safe. There's no feeling like getting past when you're not even going slow. It's like, what more did you want from me? But anyway, I have my Christmas tree up. I was eating a fall-ish breakfast, and I was like, I'm gonna watch a Christmas movie. So I was eating pumpkin oatmeal with a Christmas tree up, watching Santa Claus 2 at about 4:30 a.m. And if that doesn't define where I always thought I was going to be in my life at that moment, then I don't know what does. I feel like rarely is anyone like, oh yeah, this is exactly how I planned it. But no. If you would ask me when I was 8, like, where am I going to be at 25, it probably would have been eating pumpkin, like, desserty type of breakfast in bed across from a Christmas tree in September. Maybe the 4 a.m. part, where I would think it would happen at like 8 on a Saturday, not 4 a.m. on a Thursday. And then, of course, watching Santa Claus 2, which is the best of the Santa Claus, but not really there's not a bad option. Except I think they did like a Disney Plus show of it. And I watched the first 5 minutes. Excuse me. I watched the first 5 minutes, and yeah. Like, not particularly for me, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's Christmas. When Halloween's here. I don't want to be talking about Christmas at Halloween time. That is the problem with me, is I live in the future too much. If you could gaze into the future... Like, I need to just enjoy the season we're in. We're technically still in summer. Although I don't really acknowledge summer. I was thinking about it the other day. I don't think I put on shorts once this summer. Everyone's like, oh, time to transition to fall outfit. I'm like, I've been in my fall outfit. Listen, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's always been me. That's actually so not me. I'm like constantly in a state of being not ready. I also suffer from poor not time management. Like, I'm not a late person. I give myself enough time to get ready, but I assume I'm going to take a lot less. Like, I'll give myself an hour to get ready, but I'm like, yeah, I'll probably be ready in like half an hour, and then I can plan to be there a half hour early. When really, I take the full 45, and then I get there on time. Is how I find my days go. And sometimes I look back and I think, what took me so long? Like, if I'm cooking or something, and I mean, here's the thing, I'm not a chef, but like, I can make food that's like, you can eat, not to brag, but I'll be cooking and I'm like, oh, 3 hours pass and I'm not even hungry anymore. Or like, I've just been staring at the same thing for so long, like, I don't even want this. That is the problem. I think when it takes too long for me to prepare my dish, for me to air fry stuff, I get to a point where it's like, can we have something else? I say to myself, let's pull up an app. Not an appetizer, a literal like a phone app, and just order something. I really have to stop doing that. Anyway, yeah, this is the first episode of September. Pumpkin spice is really in full effect. Because here's the thing. It switches over to Christmas so soon that, like, if you want a full pumpkin season, you got to start in August. Like, you can't be drinking all day if you don't start in the morning type philosophy. Not to promote day drinking. I don't even drink. I'm still working on drinking water, let alone moving on to other liquids. So really, I have no place to talk. But all of that to say, I have officially opened up my first can of pumpkin, and I'm feeling really good about it. Now, the problem, if I could speak to the makers of the pumpkin puree. 1, thank you for your service. 2, thank you for being available year-round. But then 3, I do have a critique. I gave you a compliment, and here's the critique. Can we make the jar just a little smaller? Like, no one needs like that much pumpkin in one go. And if you do, just make 2 little jars, and then we'll just do that. Like, I know there's probably a reason. Does 1 can equal like a quarter of a pumpkin? I don't know. Like, are most recipes like that's how you fill a pie dish? Because it's not even pie filling, it's just like pumpkin filling. Although maybe that's all they assume people use it for. I don't know. I put it in my cream of wheat. Yeah, see, that's what like an old person I am. I said oatmeal earlier, I think. It wasn't even oatmeal. I was fully eating cream of wheat at 4 a.m. in a robe watching Christmas movies in September. That's the type of old person I am. And I'm proud of that. Be proud of your inner grandpa. Honestly, I think the world would be a better place if we all just decided to act like 90. Although it really is wild. Like, you look at babies, and then you look at like older people, which are really the only 2 groups of people I'm interested in. Like, if you have a full set of teeth, I'm probably not hanging out with you. And you look at those 2 ages, and you're like, you really, like, you come full circle. You know, maybe you have a diaper on. The bladder isn't where it once was. Again, the teeth situation is questionable. It's very similar to my theory on Dancing with the Stars. Like, on Dancing with the Stars, yeah, they say the term stars, but it's like if you're a star, like, do you have time to do Dancing with the Stars? I don't know. That's not my point. My point is, it's all people at the same level. It's just some of them are like on their way up. It's like this is their first stop, and then some of them this is like one of many. Like it's been, you know, how do I put this? Like some of them are going to be more famous, and some of them are getting less famous, if to put it delicately. So that's kind of like babies and old people. That is a great quote to promote this episode. Not that I do that. The episode that almost didn't happen. What if this is the greatest episode of all time and it almost didn't happen? What if one day they do an entire podcast series on this one episode? Isn't that funny that like there are fully TV shows that are based on podcasts, that are like based on movies, that are based on story, like everything is just like a recreation of something. It's like it starts with a book, and then they do a movie, and then they do a podcast, and then people do like a real life podcast of the making of the book that was based on a movie. And then people write books about their experiences making movies, and then those books get turned into like TV shows. And all that to say, fall starts in a couple weeks. I haven't seen candy corn out in the stores yet, but that's okay. We can get our sugar in other ways. Oh yeah, did I finish addressing the pumpkin people? I would like a smaller can. I would like a smaller can. In whatever way you want to provide that to me, that's okay. And then also, like, can it not be an aluminum can? Can we do, like, resealable? Like, if we're changing the packaging anywhere, like, while we're at the factory, is it possible? If it's not possible, I'll live. Like, I'm not, like, this isn't a deal breaker. I'm not walking. Like, I'm obviously not going to, like, roast my own pumpkin. Do I sound like someone that could or would do that? Maybe would, but not could. That sounds like a lot of work. But I would like a smaller can. So, putting that out into the universe. I mean, I'm sure it exists, but I haven't seen it. And if I haven't seen it, it's not real. And again, I'm talking about just the pure pumpkin. I know they sometimes try and trick you and give you, like, pumpkin pie filling. I don't want pumpkin pie filling. I want, like, the just regular pumpkin. Although apparently someone told me the pumpkin that you buy in a can, like, isn't the pumpkin that you put on your porch for trick-or-treaters. I don't know if that's true or just a rumor, but I've heard that the pumpkin in a can is like the outside is white. Take that with a grain of salt. I might have made that up. But anyway, what else has been happening? I usually talk about the weather. The weather, you know, it's been weird. We've had pouring rain, we've had blazing sun, and that's all happened within days of each other. So I think that means the world is ending. I looked at the charts, I carried the ones, and that can't be a good sign. Like, in no way is it like, oh, that's good luck. You know? There's no old wives' tale. Which, why is it called old wives' tale? Add that to the list of sayings that we all say that, like, we don't actually know the origin of. Like, I know what it means, but I don't know what it means type thing. Oh, I've come to the conclusion, I'm guilty of it too, but, like, AirPods are fully ruining society. Like, everyone is just walking around with earbuds in. And I love music, and I love listening to stuff, and I totally get, like if you're using them because you want to avoid people in public, go for it. If they're obviously being used as like a help in some way, I know some people use them for like sensory reasons, obviously go for it. But like, if you're just putting them in because you're bored and don't want to talk to people, like, we gotta connect, you know? Like, I'm like at the grocery shopping at the mall, and there's people just like grocery shopping at the mall. Do you grocery shop at the mall? But I'll be like walking around and have everyone has earphones in. It's like, how are we supposed to talk to each other? And I get like, yeah, maybe you're not supposed, maybe, grocery shopping can be a solitary experience. But like, sometimes I like making a comment about like the price of pickles. And sometimes people can't hear me. Like, there really is nothing like bonding with a stranger in line, so long as that is the only interaction I will ever have with that person. If they want to like then take it offline and be friends, no, I don't want that. I want this to be the 30 seconds that our strings cross paths on this planet. We exchange a laugh and we get going about our day. That's the kind of line interaction that I seek out. And I can't do that if you're wearing headphones. So everyone has to change for me. Just in case I decide to be nice enough to give you my time in a line to say, well, this is a long line, What I don't like is when someone's complaining about something, whether or not they're even wrong, or they'll be like complaining about, an employee or something, and they try and get like hater backup. That I don't like. When they're like, yeah, isn't this stupid? Isn't this return policy stupid? And they're trying to like amp the crowd up. I don't mean that. I mean like, let's just have a laugh. Do you know what I do like? Unfortunately, I do like when people complain, because then you can bond with the person behind you and be like, what is against the customer. So like, someone will be being for lack of a better word, being a Karen, and then you make eye contact with either the employee or the person behind you, and you're like, what is happening? That's always a fun moment. Although I don't wish anyone to be going through the stress of coming up against a Karen. But like, if it happens to happen, like, let's make the most of it, Anyway, like, is this the most necessary episode? Maybe I was onto something when I said there wasn't going to be one this week. I don't know. I'm going to open my 7-Up now. There really is nothing like that noise. I'm sorry. Like, how do I make that my ringtone? Anyway, I'm glad we figured it out. I wouldn't leave you hanging, even though I technically almost did. It won't happen again, I promise. And it didn't happen, so we're all good. If you like what you've heard, you can go to podcastnobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. On there you can find links to everything. Spotify, not Apple Music, iTunes, and whatnot. And, yeah. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll talk to you later. I don't know who we is, but we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.